Professor Kumar, thank you for this inspiring talk for all of us. And my first question is, how do you assess medicine today?
Now, are you talking about the practice of medicine or the practice of medicine? Well, I think we're changing, and medicine will change every year, particularly with new technology, new ways of diagnosis, new therapies, because they're now getting so targeted. So I think in terms of the future for medicine, I think it's going to be fantastic. But I'm still unclear as to what the role of the doctor will be within that.
That's exactly my second question. What should be the attitude of today's doctors living in this high-tech world towards medicine and science in general?
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things is they must never forget the patient. And whether we go on to mechanistic medicine, whether we go on to have a robotic surgery or whatever, I think robotic medicine will be a bit difficult, but in surgery I think it's already doing incredibly well. They're celebrating.
Yeah.
Doing incredibly well. And I think that will be there, but I think that doctor-patient contact will never be lost. And I think, one of the things that we all know is to err is human. We know that 10% of what we do is going to be wrong, and we'll err. Now, if you got onto an aeroplane, and the aeroplane said to you, or the people on the flight said, as you're entering, you realize that we've got a 10% chance of crashing, would you get on that plane? Would you think, yippee, I've got 90% chance of surviving, but you're getting on an aeroplane? 10% is mainly mechanistic, and there's food, and you can't do that with humans. So whatever you do, to err is human, and you're going to have that 10% problem.
Yeah. And could you point out some challenges for the modern time physician towards treating their patients?
It depends on the challenges. One, of course, depends on the patient and what they're complaining about and what the problems they have. The only advice I can give is that if a patient is angry, don't be angry back. Listen to the patient. And if the patient's angry, don't get angry back, because it's not your fault. There's a problem the other side. Maybe they've had a bereavement, or maybe they've heard that somebody's dying of cancer or something, and that sort of brings up funny tendencies in ourselves. We react differently. And one way is anger, and another way is going on and on and on about a particular symptom they may not have, but is real to them. And I think in those situations you've got to really be very kind to the patient and listen to them.
And I cannot help but ask you, what is the position of women in today's world on a global scale? You have mentioned some facts in your lecture as well.
Yes, okay. Well, let's just take women, first of all, in the Western world, and let's take women in medicine, because that's what we're talking about. I think medicine, for example, in the United Kingdom now, is getting very much more feminist, because we've now got 55%, according to GMC, I think it's more now, entry of women versus men. So I think the women have got there. And the only reason, there are several reasons, but when I took on the presidency of the Medical Women's Federation, which I never joined a female organization, but I came back because I think now is the time they need it. They need help. And I think what women have the problem of balancing their life and their lifestyles, because they bring up a family, yet they want to be good doctors. Now, how do you put the two together? Now, my life has been a struggle over that, and it's a compromise. I just wish I could have done both better, but I couldn't. And it was lovely, because I was being interviewed the other day at the MWF, the international meeting, by somebody, and my daughter happened to be in the audience. Awesome. And I said, well, look, I think it was an awful mother, but I was there. If they cried when you were leaving for work, you felt awful.
Yeah, of course.
So you used to come and so you feel, wish I'd been there, but we had good times when we were together. So they said, well, what about, and then not luckily, I said, my daughter won't talk, but that's fine. And she got up and said, no, I will talk. And she said, the question was, how would I describe myself? And I said, well, hardworking. I think enthusiastic.
Of course.
But what she also said, sacrifice. Indeed. Because she said when we went off skiing, we left mother lying, not lying, but sitting in front of a desk writing the book,
Yeah.
while my husband took the girls off skiing. So, you know, you miss out, and it was a sacrifice. You want to be on the ski slopes with them.
Yeah. And of course, last but not least, what are the challenges when you're writing such a huge clinical book? I believe we have all studied for our exams.
The worst thing is it's a huge responsibility, because you've got to get it right. And you've got to be absolutely meticulous, you've got to read it, you've got to relearn it. And then having looked at the references, got the correct things, because often people haven't got the latest information.
Yeah.
And we read the journals every week. My co-editor is brilliant. He writes down all the things we need to do. So every edition is a new book. And it's just, there are times I wanted to scream, I wanted to throw things away, because I just, you were just so frustrated, you want to get out, not sit there. The sun is shining outside, and you're sitting inside working.
Yeah. And what are your impressions from the atmosphere here at the ICMS Congress?
Oh, very impressive. I mean, very impressive. I think the enthusiasm that was there. What did you say, 700? They're not 700 yet, but, so many people have been attending it. And please, you youngsters, do not lose your enthusiasm. That's what takes us through. And I think as I'm sort of ending my days in medicine, I'm 120 years old or something, but to me, I feel that medicine is in good hands when I see you all. I think medicine's all right. And whatever you say about medicine, it'll never fail us with people like you around.
Wow, that's amazing, and I think that we can say that this is the take-home message. To all our young colleagues.
Keep up the enthusiasm. Yeah. Obviously, you've got to work hard, but please have fun.
Thank you for this amazing and open interview. It was a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you very much.